cut it with X-Acto knife. It makes it easier to cut out when you only have a little bit of extra chipboard rather than trying to cut it out from the whole big sheet. Then you can take the scraps and put them somewhere for somebody else to use. It's kind of heavy, so it's a little hard to cut. So kind of muscle your way through it. And then I would cut out the horse. But I already have some of these cut. When using an X-Acto knife, here's some of mine that I've already started cutting. When using an X-Acto knife, you need to be sure that you have a sharp blade for the chipboard because the chipboard's really heavy. And the blades are really sharp, so you have to be really careful. So to put the blade in, you just sort of stick it into the end here and then twist it until it's in pretty securely. When you're cutting, it's a good idea to have one hand holding your chipboard, but definitely keep that other hand out of the direction of your X-Acto knife. So you gotta kind of use some strength to get through it. You might have to go over it twice. So if you're gonna make grass, try to make it a little simple. Notice that my hand is always out of the way of the blade. Okay. And then I got my mommy horse, started cutting on her back. It's always best to turn your chipboard than trying to turn your knife to get around corners. And try to cut away from the shape as much as possible. If I started cutting this way, chances are I could go inside and hit her forehead. So I'm going to start here and go towards the outside. It'll take some strength. Really trying to get through this. Build some muscles in here. I'm actually breaking a sweat. Okay, so I gotta get my little full head. Notice I'm cutting away from the horse shape, so I don't end up cutting off the horse's head when I'm trying to get these ears. Still not coming out. Come on, full head. Clean up the edges here. Now I have negative shapes here that I added, little spots. Notice that I'm turning the shape to get these little spots out. I might need to change my blade because I think it might be getting a little dull from the chipboard. You can take it off a little at a time, and the top layer just come off. So I'm going to continue to work on that after. Just want to look under and see if it looks okay, because this is the reverse side of my horse shape, which means that this will be the side that gets the ink when it's printed. So I have my 3 shapes laid out. So I'm going to take my plexi again, and I'll put this white paper underneath it just so we can see. Now I'm going to write a few things on the top here. This side is the way my image is going to look when I print it. So it's the finished print. That's the finished print side. The other side is going to be the side that gets the ink. So I'm going to write backwards. If you can write backwards, then try it. I don't want to draw it all on the other side. So we know that printing, when we print, we have to, the plate is going to always be in reverse. So I'm going to flip this over, and now we can see that the ink side reads correctly. When we're ready to print, we're going to put our shapes on this side. So I want to make sure that my shapes fit in. I want to make sure they're on the right side, so that they fit into my sketch really well. Now when I print, these will be the sides that get the ink. I'm going to line it up here. I want to remember that I don't put ink on this side. I don't want my image to be reversed. So on this side, I'm going to write no ink. I already did it on the baby. So when I go to the ink side, where I would actually print, those sides are not going to have anything written on them at all. So I'll always know which side's supposed to get the ink. So the ink side is going to be where I print. What I would do next is now I'm pretty much ready to coat these with acrylic medium. That will keep them from getting sogged down with water or ink, makes them water resistant. But when I'm ready to print, I'll be taking my paper And just like what I did with my traced outline of the printing paper, I'm going to put a T at the top and a bar at the bottom, right at 5 inches across. This will be on the back of the paper. So I already did it, but I just want to make sure it's at 5 inches, so that it'll line up. When I'm printing,